Now it's time to welcome our next guest, Matthew Johnson. Matthew is owner and president of Johnson Wealth and Income Management in Humboldt, Iowa, a third-generation company that's been serving clients for over 50 years. Matthew's been in the business himself since the late 1990s, and he works to educate clients on how to avoid losses and how to achieve their retirement goals using conservative, income-based financial strategies. A man after my own heart. Matthew, welcome to the show.
Thank you, David.
Of course, you and I go back quite a ways, and of course, my nickname for you, our viewers don't know this, we call you MJ. MJ.
That's right.
So Michael Jordan's not the real MJ, my buddy from Humboldt, Iowa is. But let's talk about volatility. You know, what are you seeing right now in the middle of the country when you talk to clients day in and day out about market volatility? Are they becoming more concerned over the last couple months with what they're seeing, or do they have the confidence that President Trump can fix everything?
No, not at all. I'm seeing a lot of cautiousness. I'm seeing a lot of nervousness. You know, in the beginning of this year, the Dow Jones dropped 11.6%, and then it took us months on end to dig ourselves back out of the hole. We thought we had basically no worries in October, and then all of a sudden, just in time to experience another 9% decline. And clients are really concerned about their money because they don't know if in the middle of the night there's going to be some tweet and they're going to wake up the next morning and now their accounts are down and they're going to have to make that tough decision. Do they hold off on, going on that cruise because now they'd have to be selling shares at a low and taking a loss? So there's a lot of concern out there, and I think it's only getting greater and greater as far as the nervousness is concerned.
Wow, so you're certainly seeing this. So in 15 seconds or so, please tell us, so are you seeing that people are coming to you more proactively now saying, hey, maybe I need to kick my risk down a notch, or are they just looking at you saying, I don't know what to do?
Well, absolutely. I think that there was there was always the bunch that were really optimistic and they thought that Trump was going to solve everything, but now they're starting to realize the effect of tariff and law and volatility in general.
Oh, makes sense, makes sense. MJ, we'll be back in a moment. You stay with us too. We'll be back with many more words of wisdom from my good friend Matthew Johnson. We'll be back on The Income Generation. Welcome back to The Income Generation. I'm David Scranton. I'm here with my good friend Matthew Johnson, aka MJ, financial advisor extraordinaire from Humboldt, Iowa. So Matthew, I promised I wouldn't dig too deep, but I want to talk a little bit. We dug deep on our last interview, but I want to talk to you a little bit about what do you think is the major driver right now making people nervous? Do you think it's the trade war? Do you think it's the Federal Reserve raising interest rates, political unrest? What are you hearing, grassroots, in your office when people come to see you that concerns them the most?
I think it's a combination of everything. I mean, wherever you look, there's volatility. We're not in a shortage of crises in any particular day, whether it's more tariff talk, whether it's raising interest rates, whether it's taking and looking at the nervousness of the stock market just based upon some politicians' comments. People realize that if they're in the stock market, they're not insulated, and they feel a little bit of helplessness because they realize that they really have no control over what takes place in Washington, but they understand that whatever politicians do, it's going to have a specific personal effect to their retirement savings.
So what are you telling people who come into your office with these concerns? What are you telling them to do if they're a member of the income generation, they're retired or maybe within 10 years of retirement?
So really it's pretty simple. If we want to have more income in retirement, and that's the goal, right? We want to have more income than we could ever spend, then doesn't it behoove us to try to reduce our risk? And here's the irony. When you focus on income generating investments, you naturally reduce your risk. And so if you want to have your principal making interest and dividend income that you can spend or income that you can save, income really is the key. Total return is always comprised of two components. Yes, growth is one of them, but income is the basis. That's the foundation. It's income plus growth.
Sure, sure. As you've heard us even talk about earlier on the show, absolutely. But I'm sure every once in a while you get somebody who walks in there and says, yeah, but wait a minute, interest rates are going up. Why would I want to buy bonds now? Isn't there going to be some bond bubble? The bond market's going to crash. That's what my broker told me.
Sure.
And you heard me talk about that a few minutes earlier in the show, a few minutes ago. But how do you answer that when a prospect says that to you? Because we know that's not as big of a concern as people think, but what do you say?
Well, it's all about buying right. You see, when you're a stock investor, you've got three things you've got to do. You got to buy it right, you got to hold it right, and you got to sell it right. And you have to make those three decisions right every single time, otherwise you don't make money. When interest rates go up, typically fixed income positions start coming down in price. And right now I show clients where that's like a Kmart blue light special. That's things going on sale. And if I can buy good quality positions at prices that are less today than they were a year ago, it makes more yield for them and more income.
Which is, when you think about it, Matthew, is true. Whenever you buy something, buy real estate or whatever, the key isn't selling it right. The key is always buying it right, because you never know what's going to be down the road.
Exactly.
So we need to leave it there for now, Matthew. Thanks so much for being on the show once again. Look forward to having you back.